story time in Brooklyn. We're back in Brooklyn. We've got a funny story here, and it's called Pumpkin Town. All right, we have a lot of pumpkins around Seacliff, right? Still, Jose and his family grew pumpkins, and that growing began with shiny seeds, which were followed by long vines, and those vines grew every which way. The pumpkins grew every which way too, from small to fat to tall. The Jack Be Littles could be dropped right in your pocket. The Happy Jacks, well, they were bigger. A strong boy could carry one, just one. The Big Moons were bigger still, too large for 5 children. Well, come fall, Jose and his family would gather the pumpkins and collect the vines. The 2 trucks would take the fruit to faraway cities. Some of them were carved up, and some of them were saved for pies. But before the trucks took the pumpkins, Jose and his family would always save a few. They needed the seed. And when it came time to save the pumpkins, Jose's father always said, "Save only the best and sell the rest." So Jose and his brothers hollowed out the best pumpkins and saved the biggest, strongest seeds. They took the smallest seeds to the edge of the field, and they would just toss them. But one gusty November day, when Jose and his brothers were taking the other seeds to the edge of the field, the winds caught the seed, carried them, and didn't let them loose until they fell like rain down on a distant town. The seeds slipped into the straw roofs, and they settled in the flower pots and all over the gardens. Next spring, the rain awoke those little seeds, and the plants began. Rain fell, and the vines grew every which way. They wrapped around chimneys and wound around the corn. Well, at first the townspeople liked the vines. They were lovely. But then the vines began to climb up and down and up and around, and they snaked, and they were silent. They'd go through one window and come out another. Oh, and the fruit grew and grew and grew, everywhere. Soon the townspeople were stepping over pumpkins, around pumpkins, under pumpkins. It was hard to even walk a block. Rooftops began sagging. Oh no, the wind blew one right down upon the trees. Oh, nothing is worse than pumpkins, groaned the people. Meanwhile, up on the mountainside, Jose and his family were cutting and stacking their pumpkins, saving only the best. And when they had done this, they stepped back and said, "Nothing better than pumpkins." But then Jose and his family looked down at the town. It seemed so green and orange. Oh, when their field work was done, they walked down to the town, and all I could see were vines and pumpkins. Oh, they remembered that gusty, dusty day when everything was scattered about. "It's our fault," whispered Jose. "We have to do something," said his brothers and sisters. "Now, we must." But that night, Jose and his brothers cut and they stacked the pumpkins and the vines. They worked as quietly as they could, but some of the town people sneaked peeks. They marveled at how well the children worked. The children climbed up poles and they twined through the trees. They snake-styling through one window and another, gathering those pumpkins and vines. Well, when the townspeople awoke, they discovered a mountain of pumpkins, a hill of vines, and a mound of tired brothers and sisters of Jose's. And while they slept, the brothers and sisters, the townspeople, filled a wagon with hay, and they set 5 great watermelons between Jose and his brothers and sisters to thank them. The wagon took the brothers back to their home, where they were laid in the grass, still sleeping. Well, when their fathers found them there, he asked them what they had done to deserve such great watermelons. "We just helped the townspeople with their harvest," Jose's brothers and sisters said, which was true, and nothing more was said. Well, down in the town, 5 trucks came for the mountain of pumpkins. Oh, the townspeople were given a huge sum of money for all of those pumpkins. "Nothing better than pumpkins," they said. Much of the money went towards a feast. They had a huge bonfire, and it was decided then that the rest of the pumpkin money would be spent to carve a statue of the 5 brothers and sisters who had made mountains of pumpkins. Well, it took all of next week for the townspeople to fix their roofs and their fences, and it took all of that week for Jose and his brothers and sisters and his dad to eat their great gifts. The melons were so sweet that Jose and his family said, "Nothing is better than watermelons." "Be careful with the seeds," Jose's father said. "Our field grows pumpkins, not watermelons." So Jose's family filled a great bowl with seeds, and those seeds were forgotten until a day later. Yes, when the winds roused Jose's father at night, he feared that some of those watermelon seeds might be blown into their field. By moonlight, he carried the bowl to the edge of his field, and he tossed the seeds. And the wind caught those seeds and carried them and did not let them loose until they fell like rain down on the town. Well, you know what happened next. The watermelon seeds slipped into the straw roofs and settled in flower pots and sprinkled gardens, and they slid into the soil around the statue of Jose and his brothers and sisters. And that seemed to be the end of it. Oh no, I think there are going to be watermelons all over that town. Oh, what a funny story. Well, that's it for today. Thank you, cameraman Dan, for that great story. And thank you, Ariel. I loved it. It was a great suggestion. All right, and remember, I love you all very, very much.